What's going on, traders? Gonna bring some live trades to you today. I'm always gonna jump right into this, so let's just do it. We ended up going 3 for 3 today, two on this ticker here in front of us, BTCM, and yeah, let's get to it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, all that good stuff. So, was looking for the pop up through this 430 area. Basically, looking for it to reject 450. You can see the halt price is actually at 455. So I was basically front running this the entire way up. However, I saw it get up to 435, and it just kind of ran into this double top area. So decided to drag my order down to 429, looking for that to be the temporary top. And yeah, also on the daily, up around five, I think it was like 508, 510, something like that. There was a gap fill entry all the way up to like $7.50 or something like that. So I did have that in the back of my mind. However, I knew I couldn't get straight into that gap fill because of the current halt prices. At this point, I knew that if it did want to run and give us a nice extension, I was prepared to hit this again, looking for through 450 into that halt. So as you're going to see, we'll fast forward a little bit. We don't quite get that, and we're going to get a little bit of a dump here. Have our order out at 409, just looking for that quick 20-cent move on 200 shares would be 40 bucks. So was pretty happy with that if we could get it. But unfortunately, I think it gets down to like 415 at the lowest here and just doesn't want to give us that fill. Starts to get spready. I end up, I believe, taking half off, looking to see if we can get the continuation down. But there's 416. 415, 412. So we do get the 412. Just looking to take the whole thing at 409. But as you can see, the spread was 5 cents too. So a little frustrating. And that's when I decide to just take half if I see it start to move back up. And it actually jumps up, I think, to like 23 or something. And we get filled at like 22. So I was a little frustrated with that. So I hit it at 22 and we get filled at 22. So a little frustrating there. But as you can see, it did pop up right after that even further. So at this point, I was really just letting it do its thing, was ready to add back in if I needed to, if I wanted to run up to 450. Figured I'd throw the order out there just in case it does give us that 4 test. And as you can see, it does start to come down. And I actually had the full amount of the other 100 shares here, but I decided to change it to 50. And as you can see, it is coming down to 10. And it would have been nice to just keep it the original 200 shares here and possibly get it, because it does come down. There you go. But as you can see, it actually comes down to 403 exactly and doesn't give us a fill. And look at the spread. So that's why I can't just drag it up. Fortunately, I was getting ready to, and if the ask came down at all, but it did give us that fill at 403. And then I have the other 50 shares sitting down here, seeing if we can get these previous resistance areas to retest and get through 4. Unfortunately, as we'll fast forward, you can see it keeps trying to get bought up and we just never get that move. And we actually end up getting stopped out. It goes full screen here for a second. You can see it down here, and then we end up getting stopped. And then I zoom in and you can see it go. It never did go high a day, I don't think, though. KMX, this is CarMax. So real quick, let me pause. The big loss that I took last week on Neon and on Futu specifically, was a big company, and it was making a move just like this. And I just started it too big. A big company. I think this was earnings as well, or somebody bought some shares. I forget what it was this morning. I remember hearing something on it. But the biggest problem is not that. It was that I just started too big, and it's maybe not too big too soon, but it was just I started too big for what the company was, right? We know that big companies have a lot of institutional ownership. We know that the floats are huge. And we know that they can just grind no matter how big that initial move is. Because if you were to scroll in here, this move from 66.60, it looks like, up to 67, like 70 area, that's a pretty big move and extension, right? So there's no problem starting that here. And you do get a pretty decent pullback there to get out. But look at what it does after that, right? This is exactly what Futu did, right? I got in on this move, didn't get fully out, and then went along for this ride on Futu. However, on KMX, I had that in the back of my head that I shouldn't be doing that. And if I did, I would have had smaller size, and I probably am out full position, knowing that this is very well possible. However, this time we were lucky enough to not be in it that early and didn't even have to deal with that headache. And we wait for CarMax to make a big move. And as you can see, it does. So at this point, I'm like, oh, this would be nice up through 70. However, I noticed that as I was watching this entire move on the way up, let's see if we can catch most of it here when the trade switches over. I know I just pulled it up because I went back as far as I had it. And I see this move happening, and it basically runs in to that resistance, right? You can see it. It just went straight up to this point, and now it's really struggling to go higher. So the first moment I saw it go down, the bid just dropped out, and we end up getting filled at 69.54, which is a bit frustrating. But it is what it is. I'm not gonna, you know, brat over 20 cents when something just moved $2. So I mean, it sucks, but it's not the end of the world. Basically just put it out there looking for the quick push down through 69. I end up moving the order, figuring if we do get the move through 69, the odds are we're going to get that extra like 14 cents. But as you can see, it goes to 95, which it's where I originally had my order. So who knows if we would have got filled at all anyway, but it goes to 95. And as you're going to see, this thing decides to go all the way back up to high day after going to 95. So a little frustrated there. But it does start to move, makes a move up through 70. And at this point, I'm like, you know what? Going to look to just get an ad up around the 70.50 area. It looks like it's kind of done here. I go ahead and get that ad, brings our average right up to around that 70 area. And I feel okay with that because we didn't quite get any kind of a real pullback yet. However, I start to have thoughts of Futu, especially right here after we got that ad, it starts to go a little bit higher. And I'm like, it's okay. We're still small on size, right? This would have to get the $70.95 for me to even be down $50 on this trade. So I know that in the back of my head, we're still okay. We started this small because we know what kind of ticker it is. We know that it can do this. I'm going to be patient from here on out. And if I have to, I can add again if I want to. So, but at this point in my head, I'm thinking this has to go up towards 71.50 if I'm looking to get that add of 50 more shares, because then we're starting to accumulate some share size to where if this thing decides to move again, we could be in for a little bit of a trade, right? However, as you're going to see, we'll fast forward a little bit. It does try to go up through 71. I don't think it ever does. And then we get a nice sell off right into that 70 area. It kind of hovers around there for a little bit. And then boom, we get a nice push through again, all the way down to 15. You're going to see our orders is 62. Now keep in mind, this thing's been moving $2-3 at this point, and it's going to keep coming down. And you can see the bid went to 61 for a second there, but it literally went to right where I was and then all the way back up to 70. So just like that, 40 cents is like nothing. It went from 61, 63, all the way back up. At this time, I keep it there. I'm being patient because I know I want lower for the rest of my shares anyway. So I'm really looking to be patient. However, I am thinking too that this is a pretty big move for CarMax to come straight down like this, being the bigger company that it is. However, sometimes when you get the quick move up, you get the quick move back down. The faster the move, the weaker the trend. I've been saying that for a long time. And here we go, just front running 69 for 15 of the 25 shares that we have left. And then I was going to look to get the other 10 down closer to 68. And so it comes down again. Here we go again with the $3 move, and we're fighting pennies here. It got to 13. We were sitting at 12. And so I see it start to go back up, and we just take that off, and we ended up getting filled at 27. So a little frustrating, but I wasn't about to let the full remaining of the initial starter size go all the way back up and tap us out. That would have been a whole $25 from where we currently were pretty much. So we'll fast forward a little bit through this, and you're going to see it starts to come down. We put a range order out. I didn't mean for it to be that close. I wanted it closer down to 68. It just so happened that when my button, the hotkey that's set up, it was pretty close to already getting filled. And had it made the move it just made right when we put the order in, we would have gotten filled, I believe, because it was 72. So we might have been okay. But as you can see, we have it at 68.20. It starts to come down as BTCM is making its second move. Did I already take this off? Yeah. So let me let this one go a little bit slower. Look back over, we've moved it up to 46. I think I hit the cover 100% bid button on the montage, and we ended up getting filled. So then it went into our next trade. You can see again, BTCM. So now we got basically a triple top possibility, but we got a halt price at 462. I see it jump through there and it's skipping. And I'm like, all right, this is the kind of move that I like, right? If we pause real quick, this is not a volume out of nowhere. This is not a news reaction, right? This is something that has been trading for a while. It has plenty of volume, and it's just making this move based off of people that had stop losses in, all kinds of different things. Like, sure, it is a lower float. I think it was a 10 mil float. It could squeeze, it could do all those things, but if it does happen, it's because of those things. This is a reactionary uh, retail trader type trade, right? Type movement, type price action, right? It's not, again, a news play. It's not volume out of nowhere on low volume. This is the kind of move we're looking for. We're looking for those fast reactionary type moves because a lot of the times they pop up and then they pop right back down, especially the lower floats. It's not like CarMax a little bit earlier where you get the big move up and it can kind of be. I always use this analogy too. The higher the float, think of it like a tractor trailer versus a go kart. The go kart is the lower float. Tractor trailer, when it's trying to make a U turn, think of how long and wide it has to make that U turn. Where a go kart, how long does it take for that thing to make a U turn, right? So think of that for the higher float stocks like CarMax versus BTCM, which is a lower float, right? You get that quick move. Sure, it can happen. The tractor trailers can, pull a little jackknife maneuver off every once in a while, but it's not as typical when we're talking about stocks. So you're going to start seeing me throw orders out here looking for that pop up through these key areas. And basically, I'm just looking to capitalize off of that quick pop that we could get back down to a key level, which in this case is going to be the half dollar or 450. So just basically watching. I see I put the order out there 469, and keep note of this too. Like I already put the montage to 452 so that if I do get that pop to fill, I can immediately put out my buy order, right? So that'd be I'm looking for 17 cents there on 200 shares. That's what, $36, $34. But I see it kind of playing around and I'm still looking for that bigger pop. And what I'm doing is if we go back, I'm front running the halt price. So 469, the halt price is 471. You're going to see the halt price go up to 480. So I raise my order up towards 477. And I believe right when it does make the pop up and fill us here, the halt price actually moved up and could have went higher than it actually did. So there's 485. I didn't move it up this time. Just basically saying I'd be happy with 477. Plus, I already had my order at 457 ready to go. And I think I even raised my size back up. I was going to, the reason I went down to 100, or I think the order I have out is for 200. Yes. So the order I had out for 200, I was debating on starting it a little bit earlier if it didn't seem like it wanted to give us that pop for just less shares, because it would have been a little bit more risky. However, it gives us that pop. I immediately put my position out at 455, which I'm going to move it to 457. The reason it was 455 is because I was looking to start it. So I wanted to be under the bid. And as you're going to see, we're only in this for, I can actually check. We were in this trade for less than a minute. It was like 50 or 46 seconds or so. And so I'll fast forward just a little bit. You'll see it actually did try to go back up through the highs. And then we do get that dump off right into the half dollar and we eventually get filled. Again, pennies, but we eventually do get that fill. And that was a quick $40 winner, bringing us to a total of $93.85 on the day. Just 3 trades. That was the only trade that I actually took real size on. This one, I did take 200 shares, but I felt like I was being a little bit more cautious. We were real close to the halt price and the range wasn't as good as it ended up being up here. So I felt like I was being pretty cautious there. And then on CarMax, I started that thing with 25 shares and still ended up making $33 on it. But it's because it was a bigger company, wanted to be a little bit more safe with it, et cetera. So if we can start getting some bigger moves, I'm ready. I'm ready to start pushing. And hopefully we can start getting them. So that's all I got. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the live trades. If you did, let me know down below in the comment section. As always, don't forget to like it, hit the little bell notification if you're already subscribed. If you're not subscribed, I mean, come on, what do you? Appreciate all the support, and I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.